The University of Melbourne is trialling using Australian native species planted in quadrats along a relatively long zone. These quadrats here are 2 metre quadrats, populating the quadrats with a series of Australian natives that can stand coppicing. So they'll cut down these species every couple of years and allow them to resprout, regenerate, and they'll flower under those conditions. And with this sort of planting alongside cycle tracks and boardwalks and so on in the Melbourne environment, they hope to create what they call a woodland meadow. And what's been done here is to develop a series of symbols in gCADPlus, Eucalyptus caesea, this one to the left, Eucalyptus preciana, and an Astata species. All the species in here have relatively colourful flowers which will flower shortly after a coppice treatment. So there's a quadrat, a 2 metre quadrat. So from one side to the other is 2 metres, and a number of quadrats such as this. Let's turn on the dimension layer, and 2 metres by obviously 4 metres, so we can build up a planting plan for what is quite a long series, let's say a 40 or 50 metre band of planting. I'll turn on some quadrat layers now just to illustrate. Now all 4 quadrats have been turned on, so you can see the density of planting through there. We can total up, use gCADPlus to total up the number of species. So the gold dust wattle, 4 of those have been used, 20 of the Forsythia, eucalypts 4, and so on. So relatively wide and diverse collection of species. I've just copied them from one quadrant to another, and you probably want to move things around and put them in slightly different shape for a more attractive appearance. You might want to band some of the eucalypts going in a sinusoidal wave down through the middle. You can produce from these sorts of diagram a planting plan. So if we go back to the layers here, if we turn off the symbol layer, all the symbols will disappear, and we've used gCADPlus's auto label function. And if we turn off the appropriate set of layers, we've missed the construction layer, we want that on. And you can see quadrant 1 works well. I still need to change the hatching that indicates the base surface, but each individual species, Eucalyptus caesea, is marked by a circle, and the text in the middle identifies the species. So you can use a set out schedule such as this to indicate the planting plan working through quite a long distance. So if we look now, here's the plant schedule, and gCADPlus's ability to generate that schedule, update it if necessary, and work with different layers enables a little project such as this to be managed relatively easily.